Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to on the road to Weekend of Champions. That's right, this weekend, Saturday morning, we've got Night of Champions, or as we're referring to it as Morning of McGriddles. And then, of course, on Sunday evening, we're doing a watch-along with AEW's Double or Nothing live from Las Vegas. And along with those two shows, which we're doing watch-alongs of, NXT Battlegrounds is on as well, and that's going to be part of our big May predictions blow-off. That's right, who's going to be crowned the inaugural Big Blue Predictions Champion here at Going In Raw at the Friendo Club. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will join us for that. Of course, we'll have our reviews after the shows air. So yeah, be sure to check that out. On this episode of Going In Raw, we're going to talk about this past week's AEW Rampage. We're going to be talking about WWE Smackdown, where they're teasing more discord within the bloodline. Is Roman Reigns scared of Solo Sikoa? I don't know. Well talk about it.
Kind of seemed that way.
Might be. We also had a couple of injuries dictate some upcoming things in WWE. The women's tag title scene is kind of a mess because of some injuries. So we're going to talk about that as well. But before all that, we've got a couple of news stories as well. One involving a major injury there in New Japan Professional Wrestling. And more on AEW's Collision, which is coming up in less than a month now. And if the ticket sales are to be believed, AEW might have a bit of a problem on their hands.
Yeah, it seems like it. Because, somewhat lost in all the drama surrounding CM Punk and AEW. Is he going to return for Collision? Is he not? It's the fact the tickets for at least several, if not all, the first batch of AEW Collision shows went on sale. According to Dave Meltzer, ticket sales have not been good. These transcripts come to you from WrestlingNews.co. is what Dave had to say. Quote, they don't have a big buzz for Collision because they put 3 shows on sale. Okay, so three of the 6, half of them. 3 shows on sale. They put Toronto on sale. They put Hamilton on sale. And they put Newark on sale. And Newark has about 3,500 tickets out, which is, you would want more. I wouldn't call it a disaster or anything, but for the New York market, it'd be the weakest first day since they've been going there. Toronto was at like 1,600, and that's the day before the pay-per-view, that sold out instantly. And Toronto is a great market, and I heard from some people in Toronto about the publicity of it, the fact that like nobody really knew till Wednesday, and then they sprung up on them as far as the thing and everything. Sometimes it's hard reading Meltzer quotes, so I apologize. It's like that's not good in Hamilton, where they're going on Thursday. That's sold in the under 600 range.
in the under 600 range.
Yeah, really bad advances, which is not a good sign for the excitement. People aren't talking about it, and for that reason, I mean the names that were announced and everything like that, like it's not enough. And you need, if you launch this thing, it's a really, really tough situation.
No, it's like one of them Zodiac letters, man.
Yeah, the cipher, yes.
So that's all to say, ticket sales are shit right now for Collision because there's been no CM Punk. Now, it will be very interesting if on Wednesday they announce Chicago, the United Center. People might at that point. Let me ask you this first. I know that there was a rumor put out there, I think by Meltzer, that the Grab City podcast had then debunked from their sources at AEW that Daly's Place was being used as a possible backup for the Collision premiere should Punk not appear. Now, Daly's Place has traditionally been used as a backup for AEW, so it would make sense that if
it's their home base,
Right, exactly. It was the home during the pandemic. They can go there if they need to go there. It would kind of make sense, I guess, if they elected not to do Chicago. Well, they've got Daly's Place. Yeah. If they do Chicago, let me ask you this. Do you think there's any chance they would do Chicago without Punk?
2% yes. Because if they do Chicago, the expectation is that CM Punk will be there. Whether it's stated explicitly or not, that's the expectation that's going to be had by every single person who buys a ticket to be in that arena that day.
Okay.
And if CM Punk is not in that arena that day, somehow we're going to see tomatoes thrown in the ring, garbage, popcorn, beers, sodas. They're not going to be happy.
Let me ask you that it's so incredibly silly, but like, you know, okay, so similar to what was the latest thing that that Fightful had about oh man, what was it? Well, I made a joke about it last week about like if Will Washington given that info to Fightful, and then everybody was like, no, he's got it in his contract. I forget what the exact thing was, but Sean Ross Sapp had some info
I can't remember
about
either. Yeah.
It was about basically is this. If AEW wants some info out there, but they don't want to officially announce something, like could they put it out there that Punk's not going to be there? Could they put that out there through the dirt sheets?
That's kind of what happened when Punk came back. There was report. I think it was Sean at Fightful had the story first.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
that CM Punk was coming back. No official word from AEW. At that point in AEW's history, they were really good about keeping things under wraps.
Yeah,
for the most part, and it seemed like a situation where maybe this is one of those things. This is speculation, no inside sources. It's speculation that somebody within AEW might have kind of let some things leak to build anticipation or something, and it worked. They sold out the United Center.
Dude, here's the thing, and this was my golly, I'm really trying to remember what the actual piece of info was.
Well, I can pull it up.
That I made the joke about.
Which episode it was.
But look, if AEW wants to get something out there that they don't want to officially mention or announce, they're gonna do it. Whether it's person A, B, or C in AEW, they're gonna do that. And if they want to get out there that CM Punk is not gonna be in Chicago, the AEW crowd is the kind of crowd that they're gonna know. Yeah, come on, like what Fightful has like 30,000 subscribers or something right now to Fightful Select, to their Patreon. Word will get around just like word got around that he was going to be there. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they could do Chicago. The problem is, even if the crowd knows that Punk isn't going to be there, they're still going to be raining down with CM Punk chants, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's the issue. If for 2 hours straight the crowd's chanting, yearning for CM Punk to show up, and there's no Phil, garbage.
That's what a big MGM here says, the hard split. I think it was the brand split.
Oh, maybe.
I think it was something to do with that.
Maybe. Tomatoes, garbage, full empty beers.
Deep dish pizza,
yes.
That's what
ice cream bars that maybe they had left over from Phil came last time.
The Phil ice cream bars, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all these things, maybe someone will bring some muffins in, some Spindrift.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Mindy's could make a killing on that. Yeah, Spindrift would be difficult. But here's the thing: if Punk is announced, if he's announced on Wednesday, it's like, hey, yeah, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And ticket sales go through the roof. That sort of proves a point, doesn't it?
Yeah, but if they do announce he's going to be there, and ticket sales are not good still. Potentially mortgage your entire company to somebody who ain't moving tickets, ain't putting butts in seats. I don't expect that to happen, but
it'd probably be. I would imagine it would be some sort of middle ground. You know, like we saw an uptick, just like dude. If you added 150,000 people to their total overall viewership, then you'd be back to CM Punk territory.
Yeah,
and because that's about what the difference. Even though honestly, ratings in 2019 and ratings in 2023. I'm not going to say it's apples and oranges, but there is a year-over-year attrition because of how media is consumed. Same thing with WWE. 1.7 million in 2023 is not 1.7 million in 2019. There's a difference there. So it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. But the bottom line is, I don't think anything changes from what you and I were talking about before when we talked about this last week. You gotta figure out what to do without Punk. You have to, because whether it's 2023 or 2025, he ain't going to be around forever, and you got to build those stars. You got to bring people in or build people up, preferably, that can move the needle.
And that's one reason why we had a video where we were talking about people that Phil Punk should feud with. And and how we say that Phil should lose them all because they need to build people up.
They do, yeah.
They needed to develop talent, build them up so they can be main eventers, and assume the top guy spot.
Yeah.
When assuming Phil comes back, when he's hurt, when he needs a break, when his contract expires. They need to invest. I'm not saying that CM Punk should lose all of his matches, but he needs to start putting people over.
He does. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if he has like more of a Jericho role, Jericho wins plenty, but when he needs to put someone over, he puts them over.
Right, absolutely.
Just put Roderick Strong over. He's going to put Adam Cole over.
Yeah, yeah, 1,000%.
He put Ricky Starks over twice.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jericho doesn't his aura, his reputation doesn't suffer because he puts people over. Because he's still heavily involved. He's a legend in the business.
Yeah.
And it's still seen as a massive accomplishment to best Chris Jericho. And you have CM Punk return, maybe he wins 2 or 3 feuds, and then he starts actually putting some younger guys over.
Well, he did this. I mean, he did that with MJF. You know, MJF is able to claim, I beat him twice in Chicago.
The only
I
guy
know.
Put over.
I know, and I honestly think that helped MJF. You know, it helps people when you do that. It really does.
What helped MJF more than beating Punk, I feel like, is that story gave MJF an opportunity to really add a lot of dimension to his character.
I agree with that as well.
That helped him just as much, if not more, than beating CM Punk.
Yeah.
At least in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But if MJF never got like a win over Punk.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying the win was inconsequential.
People care about that shit. You know?
Yeah. Wins and losses should matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But no, you got to build people. You got to build people, and you got to use what you have even better. If you look at right now, I think the 2 best stories that AEW has going on is Jericho, Cole, and Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. I think those are the 2 ones that people care about and people marked out. And I know, the ratings still weren't all that great, but again, ratings are a thing where when you build stories, especially, I mean, really, that's kind of the thing is stars and stories.
Yep.
If you get the story, if you give people the stories that people care about, then they're going to tune in and they're going to care about your product. And there will be excitement over Collision. I don't remember what we need to go back and look at what were the numbers, what were like the ticket sales on those the first month of Thunder episodes back in the day.
That's a good question.
Because WCW was hot. And that's why Turner wanted more. They did more. And I don't remember how long it was before Thunder became Thunder, like the Firm B show. It might have been within a couple of weeks. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I don't remember. So yeah, we'll see. Again, it's all contingent seemingly on whether Punk comes back. Imagine if Punk comes back, we'll see an uptick in ticket sales. Will it be a situation where shows are going to start selling out left and right? I don't know. I don't know if Punk burned through. I don't know how much goodwill Punk burned through based on Brawl Out. Whether there's, we've seen anecdotally in comments of our videos, people are like, yeah, I was a really huge CM Punk fan, and then all this happened. I'm just kind of tired of him now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a situation that is kind of more of an expansive thing across the wrestling sphere, or if it's just something that's, it's a small subset of wrestling fans are just so burned out. They're like, oh, CM Punk's involved, pass. Don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm like just pure speculation on my part. I assume that people would be interested, whether it's, hey, I'm tired of him, but I kind of want to see how this plays out, or I'm a legitimate CM Punk fan and I want to see the guy come back. I think that there's at least at the outset, there's going to be far more people who are interested in seeing him come back than not. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think people, there's a general interest. Oh, how is this going to go down? Like, how is this going to play out? And then they're going to have to put together something good for people to want to stay tuned in. That's my guess.
Yep. Let's talk about this. So last night, New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. They had a tournament to crown the first New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Mercedes Moné, Willow Nightingale reached the finals in the main event of last night's show. And according to PW Insider, it appears that Mercedes suffered a significant injury during the bout, which led to Willow winning the title, saying, quote, the original plan was for Mercedes Moné to win the New Japan Strong Women's Championship last night, but when she suffered a broken ankle, an audible was called. I don't know if you've seen the video of the spot that they suspect, or there's been conjecture about that was a spot where she hurt her ankle where she's on the top rope. Looks like maybe she lost her balance and jumped down to the floor to avert injury, and then seemingly upon landing injured her ankle. This is a bummer. I haven't had a chance to watch this match or the other two semifinal bouts, but I heard nothing but great things about them. The crowd seemed awesome at Resurgence last night. And by every indication, Mercedes versus Willow was a fantastic bout till the injury occurred. Mercedes seemingly just gutted it out, got to the finish, put Willow over, and went off to the hospital seemingly, because I know she had a Twitter post. It looks like it was from the hospital. So it was a bummer we didn't get the finish they had planned, and they didn't get to finish the match how they really wanted to. So hopefully Mercedes will heal up quickly. She seems to be having the absolute time of her life doing the wrestling that she wants to do.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it's a bummer that, she'll be out of action for a few months probably to heal and recuperate and rehabilitate this injury, but can't wait till she comes back because she's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, if you watch the spot that you're talking about, it seems kind of obvious because it's before that she was fine, and right after that she was not putting any weight on that. Yep. Man, this is awful. It might be one of those things that might be, I'm not going to call it a blessing in disguise, but maybe something like that for Willow. Hopefully Mercedes will bounce back. She's a huge star.
Yeah.
She will continue to be a huge star, whether she continues her non-WWE run or goes back as Sasha Banks. Regardless, I think she's a big deal. But having Willow, and if you watch sort of the finish to the match, it seems obvious that, Mercedes was probably supposed to win this, and an audible was in fact called. Willow hits her with a doctor bomb, and the ref goes down and he counts, and Sasha doesn't kick out, and the ref stops. He stops counting, and he's like, and he sort of checks. He's like acting like her shoulder was up or something. And then Willow has to get her back up, hit the doctor bomb. So it seems like there was also some miscommunication there.
Yeah.
Sasha maybe just figured, Mercedes might have just figured this guy is going to count it as a shoot because that's what we've heard refs are supposed to do.
Yeah.
But Willow should be winning big matches now.
Yeah.
She's at the point. She's there. And this is an awesome opportunity for not just her, but it also kind of maybe forces AEW's hand into booking her the way they really should. When we talk about building new stars, Willow is there.
Yep.
Do it now.
Yep.
Like, now she's champion over there at New Japan Strong. They got a relationship with New Japan. She ain't going to be taking these losses to the Outcasts, to to Jade if they revisit that, over there in Ring of Honor to Athena, who we both love. Yeah. Start booking her the way she should be booked, like a champion. I've often felt that she should be the one to beat Jade beat Jade's streak, because I think that Willow, being basically AEW homegrown, I know she had a career before AEW, but this was her big breakout. But Willow was ready. Willow in 5 years is going to be just a license to print money. Like, she's got the charisma, the look, the wrestling chops, everything.
Yep.
And so this might end up being just a huge opportunity for her and the promotions around her that are booking her to make real money off of her, and for her to make a lot of money, increase her stock, and of course eventually go to WWE. I say that tongue in cheek. Relax, everybody. But no, awesome for her, and really sad for Mercedes. Mercedes, assuming the physical aspect of it, she pulls through and is able to heal up. She'll be fine, and she'll be back on her great run again. But I'm looking forward to seeing what this unfortunate situation might affect positively Willow's career going forward. Definitely. Because she's tremendous. She really is.
Yeah, Willow is fantastic, and as it seems like for a while she's been on the precipice of massive things in AEW, and now that she's strong champion, hopefully that'll kind of help her push in AEW to get those huge wins, to get those high profile wins over the big name competition. And if she ends up being the one to best Jade Cargill and end that streak and take the TBS title off her, I mean, the story's there. You could do it.
Don't you love how, during Jade's entrance this week, the first thing you hear commentary say, JR says, She needs better competition. Yeah, we know, JR. We know. We've been saying this forever now. Come on. She kills 2 jobbers in a row this week. Yeah, she does. There's a whole bunch of people doing stuff on Dynamite that she should be involved in, JR. Yes. We know this.
Yes,
maybe
do,
talk
JR.
to. Don't tell us that. We know that somebody else doesn't know.
Maybe by putting it out in the world, in the ether like that, JR is hoping it'll commute. I mean,
maybe he's putting out there. He's shooting. And he's like, man, this is what maybe he really thinks this. And he's like, Tony's not listening to me, so I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to create my own narrative.
Did he forget that Tony's back there at Mongo position listening on headset the whole time?
Yeah, he's like, hey, what are you
running the show?
Yeah. No, the competition's fine. There's a bunch of jobbers. Oh man. Anyways, Larson, we're gonna hit our Smackdown recap here in just a second, but we got a new sponsor, so why don't we go ahead and pay some bills, Larson?
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Steve, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but a few years ago, thought I saw my neighbor's dogs had gotten loose in the neighborhood and were chasing kids down the street and barking at them and chasing them all over the place. Yeah, so I go outside, try to get the dogs back to who I think are their owners, only for one of them to set their sights on me, charge me, and then try to bite me.
Oh my gosh. No, yeah. I don't think you've ever mentioned that story. That sounds terrifying.
It was terrifying. Thankfully, I dodged the bite, but I ended up falling backwards and banged my head on the pavement and hurt my wrist. And I had to go to the ER to get the x-rays and all that. And thankfully, I escaped with only a sprained wrist. And it turns out they weren't even my neighbor's dogs. Never found out whose dogs they were. Anyways, point of this is that accidents can happen. And you could be hurt from those accidents when you least expect it. If you're ever injured, you could check out America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has a proven record of getting their clients full and fair compensation. They've recovered more than $15 billion for their clients.
Wow. Morgan & Morgan has over 100 offices nationwide, and you could submit your claim in 8 clicks or less. It's more like ordering takeout than hiring a lawyer, and you can do it without getting off your couch. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/raw or dial pound law, LAW, pound 529 from your cell phone.
That's FOR for the people, forthepeople.com/raw or pound law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
Let's talk about Smackdown. We got some more drama within the bloodline. Actually, before we talk about Smackdown, we got some super chats over here. Let me do some of these super chats from Ricardo. Says, let's talk the Elite. I'm tired of hearing CM Punk. Well, the Elite needs to start a podcast and complain about their booking, and their booking's pretty good, so I don't see that happening. But the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club right now, it's like one of the best things.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Jose Alaguna says WWE wins again. Oh, wow. And then we get another one here from Ricardo. Says, couldn't have a better oops champ than Willow. The look on her face after she won was priceless. Because you could see, should I have done? I don't know if I should have won this. I don't think I should. But I'm going to act like I'm happy because I'm champion now. But I shouldn't be champion.
So that's what you got to do?
I know, yeah. It's you can see the ref says something to her, too. It's like, act like a champion. act like this wasn't a big mess up. Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown. Roman Reigns berating the Usos in the middle of the ring after they took the initiative to try to grab that brass ring and attack Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but Roman Reigns had words that he wanted to say. It was his plan, and the Usos ruined said plan.
Yeah, I wonder what Roman wanted to say.
Oh, dude, he had all sorts of stuff to get off his chest. I think Sami the betrayal really affected him, and he's been rehearsing this, in the mirror, in the bathroom, for ages now, since the
Weeks,
Rumble,
maybe months.
Yeah. He had a lot of problems with him, and he wanted to say some stuff, and the Usos get in there.
He was moving Festivus up earlier in the calendar.
Oh, every day is Festivus for Roman Reigns. When you're the champ, and then as he's exiting the ring, he accidentally sort of shoulder checks Solo, who doesn't miss a beat, and just fires a look at Roman. Roman's like, whoa.
He did the body language version Roman did of my bad. And got out of there.
Yeah. Just a bad day for Roman.
It really was.
This bloodline story, man, I've seen, whether it's in the comments here in our various chats over at WrestleJuice, Friendo Club, whatever. on Twitter. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, the Bloodline story is really, cooled off since Mania," and I think there was a cool down period after Mania, but over the past couple of weeks, it's really picked up. Given that tonight, we've got the Go Home Raw to Night of Champions. Don't see a lot of Bloodline stuff happening there, but certainly on the Go Home Smackdown. Are they going to be filming? Did they tape that?
They filmed that. They filmed the Smackdown last week. Yeah,
okay.
They did a double taping. And on Raw tonight, I believe there's no, that's on Smackdown next week. The edition of Kevin Owens show with Roman and Solo. I believe that's on Smackdown next week.
So given what we saw on Smackdown, and I have no idea what spoilers might be out there, how do you see
all
this?
Spoilers. I didn't look at it, but I know they're out there.
How do you see this playing out at Night of Champions?
You don't bet against the Bloodline very often because they win basically all their matches. That being said, if the Usos' MO is going to be, we need to, that means defying Roman, go out of our way to kind of prove our worth, to prove that we still belong, even if we're not champions, to stay in Roman's good graces, then I could totally see them coming out ringside, trying to interfere to help Roman and Solo to victory, instead costing them the bout. And then that's like a massive wedge right there between Roman and Solo and the Usos. Well, I guess more so between Roman and the Usos, with Solo caught in the middle. That's kind of what I expect. But if it turns out the Bloodline just win, then that wouldn't be surprising either.
I don't think there's going to be a huge, because, part of me thinks, man, the Usos have got to be, at some point, the Usos are going to be, at their wits' end with all this stuff. They're going to get tired of being pie-faced in the middle of the ring and berated in the middle of the ring when they're just trying to do Roman right. I think they'll probably continue to try to do him right. I don't think they're going to turn on him, although I'm not sort of ruling that out, but I don't think that's going to happen at Night of Champions. And I think they're probably just going to, mess up. But at the same time, man, it's really difficult but the more interesting story is Roman and Solo winning. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. Another thing to consider is they're doing a Roman 1,000-day championship celebration on June 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
And that could be another instance where the Usos would be like, here, look what we did for you, Roman. Look, we did this. And, I don't know, balloons and confetti and all this. Roman's like, I don't want any of this.
Gets him like a cake. And he's like, I like red velvet. What is this chocolate? I'm sure
red velvet is delicious.
Is this gluten-free? Yeah, I know, exactly.
Yeah, this is gluten-free. Friday's not my cheat day.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, dude, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I do think that the Bloodline is sort of picking up steam again.
Yeah, they are.
I have no idea where it's headed or what they're going to do with it. I loved Sami Zayn saying, you're not better than us. You're not even better than the Usos. Because like Roman didn't care about the first thing he said, but then when he said you guys aren't as good as the Usos, he was like, he winces. I love when Roman winces.
Oh, he does the
that. Yeah, Cody does a really good wince too.
Well, he is a bit more over the top than Roman's.
He does, yeah. It's a bit more exaggerated, yeah.
I mean, as is most things, Cody is a bit over the top. Anyways,
man, it's great though.
So yeah, it's interesting to see where that goes.
Jonathan also here in YouTube chat points out a good thing. It's the anniversary of Seth's betrayal too.
Yes.
Yeah, on the 1,000-day ceremony, 1,000-day ceremony thing.
That's true. Let's talk the women's tag titles because we're gonna get some new ones crowned in a couple weeks. Apparently, Liv Morgan is injured.
Both Liv Morgan and Dakota Kai
needs ACL surgery. Apparently,
right. Yeah.
I don't think we've had word yet on Liv's injury, although it looked like a shoulder based on the replays they were showing on SmackDown.
All I saw, on Twitter, I saw that people were speculating it was a shoulder, but
yeah.
So
Liv and Raquel got to vacate or have vacated the tag titles. They're going to crown new champs on not this Raw, but next week's Raw.
Yeah.
It's a four-way where Raquel's going to have to find a new partner. It's Shayna and Ronda.
It's Raquel and a mystery partner.
Got them.
And Bayley and Io.
Yes, Bayley and Io, and there's one more team. It's a four-way match.
Oh, is there?
Oh, it was Chelsea and Sonya.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, this has got to be when they give it to Ronda and Shayna, right?
I think so.
that would make all the sense in the world. It feels like they were supposed to get those at WrestleMania anyways.
Mm-hmm. If not for injury, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a big drag. Liv and both Liv and Dakota are out. Who do you think Raquel's partner is going to be?
Shotzi?
That's what I was thinking too. Probably Shotzi. She's just sort of there. Yeah. After that, and then also rest in peace to the greatest tag team that kind of never was, Boogie Nights.
Mm-hmm.
What they called it something else. It was something else.
Boogalicious Nights.
Boogalicious Nights.
Why'd they have to overdo it?
I would suspect it's probably legal reasons. I would think.
You trying to tell me that a wrestler hasn't named themselves, named a tag team, named a move after a song?
Like on the indies, yeah.
No, like in WWE, I'm sure it's happened.
Nobody's done that, man. Never in the history of WWE.
Never.
No, but look, you asked me the other day. You were like, would they have to get permission from the band Heatwave or Paul Thomas? I suspect Paul Thomas Anderson had to get permission from Heatwave for the movie, and so they would probably have to get permission from both Heatwave and the producers of Boogie Nights.
It would depend if Heatwave trademarked the phrase Boogie Nights, and if so, if it covered the realms of professional wrestling. If it doesn't cover the realm of professional wrestling and they did trademark it, there might be wiggle room there. I'm not an entertainment lawyer, so don't listen to me. But it could be fine. I don't know how often artists trademark the names of their songs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, obviously, the lyrics, the melody is copywritten, but trademarking the name of their songs.
That the show Californication got sued by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right. Do you know on what grounds?
For that. Probably the confusion thing, it's too close that people are going to confuse one with the other because they're both forms of entertainment.
Do you know how that played out?
I think Red Hot Chili Peppers got some money from the producers of Californication. I think. I could be totally wrong about that, but yeah, I don't know. Go ahead and look that up.
I will.
As I start the SmackDown recap. Oh, actually, no. We got to mention this too. Boogie Nights then broke up. So it doesn't matter. So after they lose the match, and LA Knight seemed thoroughly uninterested in Rick Boogs' antics during the match. He seemed more interested in working out using the wrestlers than he did winning the match. He was Boogs fell victim to the billionaire finger trap, LA Knight's finishing move. Yeah. And then LA Knight stormed off. And so, Larson, it seems like this is going to be a feud that LA Knight should totally win. I love Boogs. He's like one of my favorite guys. But maybe this is the start of an actual LA Knight push because Boogs is clearly a guy that LA Knight should probably win in a feud against.
Absolutely. All right, this is what I found. This is from MTV. Regarding the suit between the Chili Peppers and the show Californication. So this is
test my memory.
The Chili Peppers claimed. The claim of the title is inherently distinctive, famous, immediately associated in the mind of the consumer with the Chili Peppers. Anthony Kiedis says Californication is the signature CD, video, and song of the band's career, and for some TV show to come along and steal our identity is not right.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what the outcome is. This is just when it started.
Okay. All right. Well, let's put that on chat. Chat, can you guys find out what happened with that thing?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So anyways, they broke up. LA Knight should win that feud. And then maybe they're using that as like a litmus test. Hey, is this LA Knight thing for real? Because everybody that I know, everybody that I've seen on Twitter loves LA Knight. The crowd loves LA Knight. So I don't know why they wouldn't be pushing him directly to the moon, Larson.
Yeah, I don't know either. So there's information on the lawsuit here in Wikipedia, but I'm not going to read it right now.
Okay, that's good. I need you to focus on the SmackDown stuff.
I know, but now I'm curious. Now I'm very curious to see how it played out.
Let's talk about somebody else that WWE should probably push to the moon. And there's like rumors that they want to. Cameron Grimes.
Yes.
He had another promo this week where he seemed to have stumbled upon his old catchphrase, to the moon, because that was sort of the punctuating mark of the catchphrase. I feel like they need to give Cameron Grimes his old character back, and I've been saying this ever since he lost his character in NXT. But like, if they're gonna actually push Cameron Grimes They actually need to give him like something, right? Because he just seems like a half-assed version of what he was before.
I know. He can't just be to the moon guy.
Yeah. He seems almost self-conscious using it now.
Like
he said, oh, I'm going to go so far. Or actually, I'm going to go to the moon. And I'm like, it was so much easier. Yeah, go ahead.
Suit was settled out of court.
Settled, which probably means Californication gave up money to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Because it's usually like a settlement. Somebody attacks somebody. Yeah, okay. All right.
But apparently there was the Chili Peppers never registered the title Californication, or never trademarked it, never filed for a trademark on it, according to this.
Isn't there like something that says that like when you actually create a work, it's like automatically legally protected as long as like you've, like I know like that wasn't the case with George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, but I swear I read something that like
I think that's more I believe that's more copyright law as opposed to trademark.
All right, whatever. Let's move on. Let's talk about SmackDown, dude. Come on. It started off with a Bloodline promo. Roman, Solo, and Heyman come to the ring, get all sorts of recaps while they're walking. Roman tells the crowd, "Hey, acknowledge me." They do, of course. Oh, there's a lot of boos for Roman this week.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens' music hits. Sami Zayn comes to the ring. Roman says, this is perfect. You seem excited. This is my plan all along. Get you excited. It's going to bring you out here. There's really only two things to do, and I think we can accomplish both right now. Columbia already did. Now it's your turn to acknowledge the tribal chief. When you're done with that, you can drop my titles and see yourself out. Crowd goes, ooh. So Kevin Owens about to say something, but he just tosses the mic aside. He steps up to Roman, and then Roman pushes Solo in front of him. Talk. We don't want to talk to you anyways. And he motions to Sami. He says, I've had a special career. I've experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, but I only have one regret, and that one regret is wasting my life on you. So clearly, this is like, you've been dumped by somebody and you're rehearsing what you're going to say to them when you see them at a party. And this is Roman's moment to tell Sami what he thinks. And then Sami responds, Larson.
Yeah. He says, that's funny, Roman, because I only have one regret too, and that's not blasting you with that chair sooner. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? You haven't been in the ring together since what? Montreal? Elimination Chamber. Remember that night? I thought I'd never get this opportunity to stand here, look you in the eye, and tell you everything I wanted to say, and dreaming about it for months. And now your greed has finally led us to this moment. Now that I'm finally standing here, man, I got nothing to say to you except this. Your whole life, everyone told you that you were the best. You got everything you wanted, and now you want the undisputed tag titles. Hey, look at me. Hey. And I had champions. Because Roman's like, gaze is not on Sami. So like, hey, look at me. And I had champions. You are not going to get them. Want to know why? Because you're just not as good as us. And for that matter, it's not as good as the Usos either.
Ooh, and that really burns Roman. We talked about that a little bit. He sort of starts pacing in the ring. He says, that's how you feel, huh? I took it easy on you. I gave you opportunity after opportunity. I tried to serve it up. And then the Usos hit the ring, and they attack Sami and Kevin Owens. Roman's like, what the heck? They send them both out of the ring. The Usos get back in. They're super happy. They think that they've done good for the tribal chief. Mm-hmm. They look for a handshake. Instead, Roman pushes his hand down and says, this is my ring. I didn't tell you to come out here. It was a simple plan. My plan. He turns to leave, accidentally bumps into Solo. Solo just sort of glares at Roman, and then Roman, settles down, and then he leaves.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So we go to commercial. We come back. We're in the Bloodline locker room. And Jay's like, we're trying to help. And Roman says, you're saying we. Sounds like you're talking about you two. Do I look like a twin? Do I look like a we? This is us. This is the full Bloodline. Who runs the Bloodline, huh? Who's the quarterback here? Who calls the calls? And they're like, you. And he says, then why are you running random stuff out there? I have something I wanted to say. I gave a good portion of my life and career to that fool, and I have something to say. Did I get to say it? Nah. Why? Because you got to do what you want to do, right? Now, what's been working this whole time? Not what's been working this whole time. Not just what got us here, but what's kept us here, on top of the mountain. I'm that guy. I make these choices. Just get out. Now, get out.
He was steamed.
Yeah, he was mad.
Fired up. He has that new Baphomet shirt.
Baphomet, yeah.
What a weird shirt that is, man.
That is.
What a creep ass shirt. It's like
they got like an anthropomorphic goat on there with the Roman's glove on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's got like doesn't it have like Roman's body, but then it's got like a weird.
Yeah, it's got a goat head. Yeah,
it's got a goat head.
What are they doing over there in the merch department, man?
Man, they're clowning. They're all high as shit. Hey, man, I saw this thing. Baphomet. Let's make it Roman. It's like a crazy goat guy, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, crazy shit. Anyways, after that, we had the Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly. I liked this because earlier in the day, they show like how this, some promos beforehand. Pretty Deadly are in the kitchen cutting a promo. And they're like, what's the recipe for Smackdown's 2 tastiest snacks? Pretty Deadly. First, grab a bowl and add 2 cups of charisma. Then 2 tablespoons of tag team ingenuity and a dash of good looks. I'm Jackie Daytona.
Yeah, I know you're Jackie Daytona.
He says, but the most important ingredients are one Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. And that makes the delicious Pretty Deadly. And then they do this great bit where, like, you know how like people get wrapped up in the ropes?
Yeah.
Well, they acted like they were wrapped. What's his face? Kit acted like he was wrapped up in the ropes while the ref was distracted. And then Kit gets out of the ropes as Elton gets him up in position for spilled milk.
Yeah.
And then he hits it. And then he goes and he wraps himself back up in the ropes.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
And Elton gets the win there. That was awesome stuff. That was really cool. So Pretty Deadly picks up the win over the Brawling Brutes, and Sheamus just sitting there, who's on commentary, and he's just sitting there like. Well, nothing you can do about that.
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
Other way around. Elton's the blonde.
That's
okay.
what I was trying to say. That
I'll get it eventually.
Elton.
I didn't even know which one was which before they had those goofy names.
And then the Kit Wilson brunette. Yes. So then we had a memorial package for superstar Billy Graham, who had passed away on last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Then we had Asuka taking on Zelina Vega before the match. Zelina had an interview. Says, "I'm ready. Am I ready for someone like Asuka?" She continues, "When I receive that love and support from my people in Puerto Rico, I realize that I belong with the top women in this division. Doesn't matter how much I'm taken for granted or being underestimated. When I gave my all to Rhea Ripley, I showed that I can go toe-to-toe with the best of the best. And now Asuka is going to see that I am ready."
No, she's not.
Asuka wins this, though.
Yeah, makes her tap out.
Yeah, makes her tap out to Rings of Saturn.
So this part was funny because, like, Asuka, of course, after she wins, she doesn't release the hold because she's a bad guy now. And then Bianca runs to the ring to make the save. You remember, of course, last week, her championship celebration was marred by Asuka just blasting her with the chili sauce mist.
Yep.
And then Bianca, so Asuka rolls out. Bianca's checking on Zelina Vega. Asuka tries to sneak back in, but Bianca sort of catches her, tries to pull her back in the ring, and then Asuka tries to mist her. And Bianca like half dodges it, so there's some on her.
Yeah.
And like the little headline on WWE.com, like the video was Asuka kind of hit miss Bianca. It was something very half and half. Because even like, do you think like Asuka was supposed to get it all in, or do you think Bianca was supposed to dodge the miss?
I think Bianca was supposed to dodge it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because everything after the missed attempt led me to believe that Bianca was supposed to dodge it. Get any on her.
It's supposed to be like a close call type situation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because she was like...
But she was like a little bit on her face, but it wasn't like...
got some on me, kind of maybe enough to react, but not. So let me act kind of agitated in general.
Yeah, but not completely selling it, yeah.
Yeah. I gotcha. All right.
Then we had Grayson Waller effect with special guest AJ Styles. This really did feel like a watered down... Yes, Steve?
So... they're setting up a feud between AJ Styles and Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
And Karrion Kross.
Yes.
Why are we to believe that AJ Styles has any chance at winning a Night of Champions where if he wins, he's going to have to be on Raw when they're setting up not one, but 2 feuds for him right there on SmackDown?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
If it was Edge, I'd get it. It's one guy. He's got the history. He's got the history with the title. He's got the history with Seth Rollins. And he could put on a phenomenal match. And AJ Styles can put on probably a better match, but it could still be a really good match if that's what you want, a really good match.
Yep.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And this, not that I'm huge on wrestling talk shows. I'm not. Not that I'm huge on Grayson Waller effect as wrestling talk show. I'm not. Don't like the trope. I don't like the format that you generally do with these.
Same.
At least in NXT, he was seemingly allowed to imbue more of his own personality into what the Grayson Waller effect was in NXT. This just seemed pretty cookie cutter. It seemed like a watered down version of what we saw in NXT.
Which is the same thing as Supernova Sessions in NXT being a watered down
compared
version.
to what it was in NXT UK. Yeah. Because
there
wasn't a whole lot of quips. There wasn't a whole lot of insults towards AJ's way till the end. No passive aggressive little attempts to get under his skin. None of that.
Yeah, even the punchline was sort of came out of nowhere, and then they just stopped it.
Yep.
I think Grayson Waller's the kind of guy. He's got obviously tons of potential. He's got everything you need. To be like Miz plus. But yeah, this was kind of booty. I'm glad it was short at least. It wasn't very long. And they just let AJ talk and talk and talk. And then Grayson Waller had his punchline. But it really wasn't a good moment for Waller. Like, it wasn't like a big, this guy's going to be big. Kind of like Cameron Grimes when he had his, whether it's his match or any of his interviews so far. Mm-hmm. We understand what Cameron Grimes could potentially be, but the larger audience might not. And they're not showing them what he can be. He is such a mid version of what he has been in NXT, what he was before NXT.
Yeah.
He needs to be a bad guy.
Yeah, he does.
I do not understand what they're going to do with him. And
I don't either.
Grayson Waller, I think they're just sort of rolling him out, getting him used to the crowd. But yeah, you got to let him make an imprint, right?
Yeah. Instead of just doing, what seemed like very basic scripted dialogue to use to conduct this interview.
Right, yeah.
As opposed to just letting him be him. I mean, he's going to get over on the merits of his abilities.
Mm-hmm, yeah, sure.
And if that's the case, give him bullet points and let him go to town on this segment to imbue his personality into it, rather than just, all right, here's your dialogue, go do it.
Yeah, right.
It just didn't feel like this was his show.
Yeah.
And whether that's good or bad is subjective, but it just felt really cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Really cookie cutter. So in the end, he just says to AJ, we're going to get an instant classic. It's a match I'm most looking forward to at Night of Champions, especially the ending, because that's when the ring announcer, Mike Rome, take notes here, is going to say, and new World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. So AJ just gets out of his chair and just gets in Waller's face and talks some crap. Don't even hear it.
Yeah, it just sort of peters out at that point, yeah. Oh, is she going to get up on the couch? Nope. She's going to get on the hardwood.
Nope.
There we go.
Then we had
grunt while she does it.
Yeah. Then we had the LWO backstage. Ray's really putting over the Usos as one of the greatest tag teams in the world. I think he says the greatest tag team in the world, and Santos goes, I disagree. He says, you're a Hall of Famer. Maybe one day I will be too. The world needs to see what we're all about. And Joaquin Wilde says, yeah, Usos are good. We're better. And Ray says the Usos will find out what happens when you mess with the LWO.
Oh, another one for the good guys. Anyways, after that, we had Street Profits versus LA Knight and Rick Boogs. LA Knight comes out first, has a promo, says, let me talk to you. Yeah, I told everybody when I walked in the door here I was looking for titles, and that means the tag titles aren't safe either. Yeah. But then I see the Street Profits walk in on my territory talking all their stupid trash, and I think to myself, I could beat them with anybody. That's exactly what I'm going to do, courtesy of the man they call the megastar, LA Knight. Yeah, I'm going to lead this team to a W with this man, Rick Boogs. And Boogs comes out wearing a pink singlet. He's got the bendy thing that you use when you're doing the strong stuff. And he comes out just acting like a total clown, like Boogs does. It's great. Boogs is amazing. And he's all glad handing the crowd and everything, and he's having a good time. And then and LA Knight's like, you could tell immediately, he's like, come on, man, let's just go. And so Boogs is doing Boog stuff. He's in there, he's like pressing people and shit, and doing curls with human beings and whatnot. Mm-hmm. In the end, though, unfortunately, for LA Knight and Rick Boogs, specifically for Rick Boogs, the Street Profits, of course, gets the win. Dawkins hits Boogs with a sky high. Ford follows with a frog splash. And then afterwards, Street Profits leave. LA Knight helps up Boogs, shakes his hand, and then kicks him in the gut, follows with a billionaire finger trap.
Yep. So you got to expect them to feud next. We had a Cameron Grimes interview.
Yeah.
He says, if you were to tell me that my name would be associated with one of the fastest, I don't know why I put fattest victories here in the notes, but
one of the fattest victories in WWE history.
I wouldn't have believed you, but being here on SmackDown feels like I'm living the dream. Now, I know I made a huge splash last week with how quickly I beat Baron Corbin, but that's not going to stop me from being determined and being focused and going straight to the top. Actually, Megan, you know where I want to go?
To the moon. But he said it's so, like, lobotomized, like so half-assed. And he's wearing, like, a dress shirt.
It's tucked in.
Yeah, right? Like, come on, man. Let's get... I liked when he looked like the dude was, you know, like, I don't know, an extra from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. Like his beard's all trimmed up and
he looks all proper. Like, what are you going to do with him? Like, you're taking away every ounce of personality. I'm going to go straight to the top, Megan. Actually, you know where I want to go? To the moon. Say it with some conviction, man.
I know.
They need to give this guy some direction and some character. And yeah,
he needs to be NXT superstar Trevor Lee is what he needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. After that, we had a Karrion Kross promo. He says, "They say justice is blind. Surely that must be the case because don't call me Shirley." Because I'm the imminent threat of justice, and he has absolutely no idea. Do you, Alan? And then Scarlett shows off a really good AJ Styles tarot card.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a really nice drawing of him doing the
Why don't they have the person doing the tarot cards do their merch?
I want a Uncle Alan tarot card of, you know, of AJ
or the graphics
Styles.
and such, because all the tarot cards they've done have been really good.
Yeah, right. I want Baphomet AJ Styles.
There we go.
They need to do a Baphomet line of all the superstars. And then, of course, Cross says TikTok.
Then we got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn making their SmackDown in-ring debut against Ulisa, I think, actually. Sorry, Leon and Valentina Feroz. Fire and Dawn win this match pretty quickly after hitting their awesome finish on Valentina Feroz. That gory bomb flatladder combo is awesome.
Oh, it's cool, yeah. It is really, the way they frame it is, that's an awesome finish. It really is. Was this an NXT tag title defense?
That is a good question.
Are they going to be putting this title on the line?
I don't know.
What we're coming upon the PLE is literally called Night of Champions, and the champion situation is a fucking mess.
It's a massive mess, Steve. You are correct.
It's a disaster. I like this here though. Favorite customer says, going to Cameron Grimes, maybe he realized that the moon isn't as close as it looks.
Oh, it's more effort than he thought it was going to be.
Now he's uncertain. He's like, oh man, it takes a lot to go to the moon.
You know, we all thought he meant metaphorically the moon.
No.
He's been meaning it literally. He's trying to. He thinks he himself can put his finger in the air, lift off, like he's Aerostar, in Lucha Underground, and shoot off straight to the moon. Then he realizes that he's not. He can't do that.
There's a lot wrong with that. He cannot do that. Yeah.
You need a rocket ship to get up there. You can't do it yourself.
I once saw a movie called Superman 4, Quest for Peace, and he was on the moon, and it looked so easy.
Yeah.
No, that's a horrible movie, and it's not a proper representation of moon travel.
It's not whatsoever. It is a bad
movie. I once read the moon's a construct built by aliens. Now you're just talking about the movie Moonfall, which again is a terrible movie.
Oh, don't tell me he's going to start saying that the moon landing was faked.
He's going to start saying that,
no.
They got Hollywood producers to fake the moon landing. I figured I could just go down to Burbank and be on the moon.
Go on the Warner's lot, huh?
No, but you can't do that. It was a real thing that actually happened. Anyways.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, maybe that's why. He doesn't have the conviction that he can actually go to the moon, but he's already, he's got the catchphrase, so he's got to use it, but he's like...
promised it. Now he has to find a way to do it.
He's like, this is a fool's errand. I'm too old now to be training to be an astronaut.
He booked himself into a corner here, Steve.
He did. Maybe he was like, hey, I got all this money. I can afford to get, a trip on like a SpaceX type situation or a what's it do? The Branson guy.
Oh yeah, his space thing.
Who's selling? Yeah, isn't somebody selling tickets to space?
I don't know. That's out of my budget, so I don't even pay attention to it.
You can't afford it. You don't want to know nothing about it.
No, because I'd be like, oh wow, if I only had $2 million, I could fly to space.
Right. Yeah.
For 10 seconds, because you just go in the upper atmosphere and dip back down.
You see how frazzled Shatner was when he came back down?
Yeah.
He's like 90 years old, though. They should be sending Kirk up to space.
I know. His perspective was interesting, though.
It was, yeah. It
was very Star Trek 2.
Yeah, it was. He was like, maybe I should have, paid more. Maybe I should have been nicer to George Takei. Maybe I shouldn't have been such a jerk, an egomaniac back then. Maybe I shouldn't have directed Star Trek 5. That's probably the ultimate lesson he should have learned. I shouldn't have directed that movie. It was crap. Anyways, after that, commentary made the announcement that Liv and Raquel had to vacate the tag titles. We got that fatal 4-way coming up, and Raquel's going to have to find a new partner. She mentions that here. She says in an interview, she says, I want to shout out Liv. Even though we had to relinquish the titles, the way she pulled through in our match last week, there's no denying she's still a champion. Not now, though. She says, handing over those titles was the hardest thing I've had to do in my entire career, but I'm not giving up. Liv is not replaceable, but I am. But I'm totally going to replace her next week in the Fatal 4-Way because I got a new partner.
Yeah.
She's interrupted, though, by Bailey and Io. Bailey says, that's so sad, but we'd like to give a shout-out to Dakota, who was hurt last week, a much more devastating and heartbreaking injury, and I blame you. So next week, if you can find another partner, Io and I will be waiting for you in the ring. And once again, Bailey seems to be making plans without Io knowing because Io looks surprised by this.
Yeah, Io was not happy about being booked another match. Mm-hmm. Then we had Austin Theory promo, which he said a bunch of nothing. Or at least nothing of interest, except, of course, he has something in common with Sheamus, that they both beat John Cena.
So did you see this Cena quote?
Yeah.
Where he said before he publicly said nobody cares about you, he privately said nobody cares about you.
Yeah, it's interesting that Austin Theory apparently took that to heart, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This has got to be one of those situations where, Austin, you got to figure a way out of it.
Yes.
Because number one, you're holding up the U.S. title because you're essentially a vacant wrestler. Nobody cares about you. He's got to find something, man. And creative has to help him. He can't do it all himself.
I know. Yeah, the onus isn't just on Austin. It's on everybody involved in creative to lead him to something. I mean, as you've mentioned recently on the show, and Cena doing the Doctor of Thugonomics thing was happenstance. It was chance.
It was luck, yeah.
And if Stephanie hadn't seen him freestyle on the bus, whatever it was, Cena might have been released at some point, and I guess if the lesson to be learned from that, it's not, you got to put yourself in situations where someone might notice you have some skill or ability that would then translate to a character. Austin Theory or someone creative needs to realize or find something about him that could resonate with an audience.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in NXT it was there. It was when he was in the way.
Mm-hmm.
That worked.
It did.
That worked pretty damn well.
It did. Yeah. And it's so frustrating when you can see this guy had it. Mm-hmm. Like that, all the tools are there, and that you need to get 3 of their writers in a room and try to crack this. Figure it out. But if they're exclusively relying on Austin Theory to come up with his own, I happened to be on the bus and I was rapping in front of Stephanie McMahon moment. Yeah, man, you can't manufacture that.
No.
So in absence of that, you got to figure it out. You got to be creative.
Yeah, you do. You do. He's talking about how Bobby Lashley followed him to Smackdown. Lashley's jealous. And he says, I get that, but Sheamus, I don't understand. I feel like we have some things in common. We're both tough. We're both strong. We both beat John Cena. Only thing about that, I did it this year. Sheamus, you did it 12 years ago. So that brings Sheamus to the ring. So he calls the mic, acts like he's about to talk. Instead, whoop-ha, bro kick to Theory. Tosses the mic aside.
Yeah, man, it just sounds like, and here's the thing. Sheamus came out and did something really cool. And so that's why people like Sheamus, because he does really cool stuff, especially these last 2 or 3 years. That's all Sheamus does, just really cool stuff.
Yep.
I don't know how you do, you got to have Austin Theory do some cool stuff because he doesn't really do anything cool.
Yeah, I know. He just needs some dimension to his character because his character right now is just jerk.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Just jerk. He's just a jerk.
They need, Ozzy here in Twitch chat says what they may need to do is have Theory lose everything, hit his lowest point, and then go back to Raw with the way. they've had so many opportunities to do that. It's like they're afraid to pull the trigger on a risk with him. Yep. And that's the whole point. That's Cena's entire thing was, hey, by happenstance, you saw what I can do. But then WWE actually allowed him to try to do that on TV, which was a risk. Mm-hmm. You know, the doctor thinking, oh, this guy's going to come out and rap a bunch. Like,
I'll say this about Austin Theory. Maybe in his mind, look at him. He's on TV every week. He's U.S. champ. He's Mr. Money in the Bank. From his perspective, things are going pretty good for his career. Why take a risk? Not that I say I agree with that perspective, but if that is his perspective, where he's getting TV time, he's getting championships, he's getting opportunities. Again, what motivation is there really for him to change?
Yeah. I don't know if it's dude. I mean, that's a good point. I don't know. Anyways, after that, you just shut my brain down. Because, dude, you're totally right. They're not going to release him. No. They're not going to say, oh, this isn't working, we're going to release you.
No.
And so, like, you just sort of end up. But if your ceiling is so high, and I think that it is, if your ceiling is so high, I mean, does he just think that, I'll get there one day. They'll do it one day.
Maybe.
You know, at some point, they have to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that could totally be the
You look at someone like Sheamus, and Sheamus is in an awesome spot now. It's taken him 12 years to get there.
It has taken him a long time. Yeah.
You know, when he first debuted, I wasn't watching a ton back then, but I didn't think there was anything terribly noteworthy about Sheamus. Mm-hmm, Good worker, decent promo. From a character perspective, just didn't really stand out.
Cold character. Yeah.
Yeah. And until he essentially, it was really him being a member of the bar and working with Cesaro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And from that moment on, it's been awesome matches.
Yeah.
It's found a character that really works.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if Austin Theory looks across the ring at Sheamus and be like, Sheamus is still here 12 years after, like maybe 13 years after he made his debut. He's making a ton of money. He has workout video series on YouTube. Mm-hmm, perennial title contender.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to give it time. I'll get there.
That could be. I don't know. That could be. No, you could be absolutely right. Afterwards, we had the Usos backstage. They're hyping themselves up. Heyman comes in, starts playing mind games. He's like, I've got it all under control. The tribal chief forgives you. And Jimmy asks, so he's going to be out there tonight, right? Heyman says, no, he won't. But you have to understand that he's the tribal chief. He's got a lot that goes into that burden. You don't understand what it's like to be the tribal chief. He's got to go to Night of Champions and make it. And he starts stumbling. He's like, he has to go to Night of Champions and win the. He has to make a declarative statement because he doesn't want to tell them that, he doesn't want to bring up that.
Yeah.
He says, and then 2 weeks from tonight, the 1,000-day celebration of your tribal chief as champion. Come on, it's LWO. You're the Usos, the greatest tag team of all time. You've got this victory. And please, don't make that a prediction. Make that a spoiler. And then Jay leaves, and Jimmy just looks at him and goes, yeet. And then he goes. Yeah, and then they lose that match.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's good that LWO got a win because they really needed a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they didn't win very much.
Yeah.
It did take interference from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Usos are setting up for a double splash. Owens comes to ringside to distract the ref. That allows Santos to kick Jay off one turnbuckle. Sammy pushes Jimmy off the other. And then Ray hits Jimmy with a 619, tags in Santos. He hits the splash off the top to get the win. And backstage, Roman is just pissed. He's angry. Mm-hmm. And Solo's about to get out of his chair. You'd imagine to go and wreck the Usos. And Roman just, stay. Don't go anywhere.
Yep.
It's all falling apart. I mean, I guess if the idea of they're taking their time telling the story of the bloodline falling apart where Roman has to walk into, let's say, WrestleMania 40 next year against Cody, but he's by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's on an island. Roman
Yeah, Roman Island.
Maybe, and then Cody's the final straw for Roman. He loses the titles. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they're just. I don't know. I feel like they're just taking it sort of step by step and seeing where this all goes, because that's sort of what they do in the WWE anyways.
Yeah.
But no. Again, this is one of those things where. For example, with Succession, which is leading up to its final episode the same night as Double or Nothing, so that's great.
I know.
But But, you know, we found out before the season started this was going to be the last season. So, you know, okay, they're planning for the big finale for this to be, you know, figured out by the end. Mm-hmm. With wrestling, like, we never get like, oh, this is where we're heading. This is what we're doing. Like, you know, this arc is planned for this. None of the backstage stuff you never get. Like, sometimes you'll get, you know, be it Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, or whoever, you know, info about backstage creative. Mm-hmm. But there is such a difference between how they handle wrestling creative and creative in any other medium.
Yes.
And it's a shame. I'd love to hear process stuff, you know.
Totally. And, you know, especially with like Succession announcing, hey, this is the final season, it adds so much weight to every episode.
It does, yeah.
Headed to the finale. So, yeah, it'd be nice to know if.
Remember that one time Triple H said, in reference to like, what was it, like Charlotte beating Rhea? And he said, yeah, just wait 3 months, wait for 3 months. And then like 3 months came and went. It was like, nothing really happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Rampage. Some good matches on Rampage. They made Jade versus Taya is going to happen at Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got another addition to QTV, which of course I wasn't that into, but you know they were really talking up Hobbs being front and center in the promotional stuff for Collision.
Yeah.
And then QT says June 17th, the real story begins. So I don't know what that was in reference to.
Maybe that's when Hobbs will destroy QTV. We'll never have to see them again, and then Hobbs will be, you know, shot to the moon.
Yeah. Beat CM Punk debut of Collision.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we could hope.
Yeah, we can hope. It kicked off with the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Best Amigos. Of course, Blackpool Combat Club gets the win here. What is this? Claudio chucks Yuta off the top onto Chuck. Oh, Mox, it's Chuck with a Death Rider. Okay.
Yeah, but then Claudio and Yuta do the rocket launcher type deal where Claudio throws Yuta off the top rope for like a splash.
Yeah. Then we get a Kyle Fletcher Orange Cassidy video package. It was also announced over the weekend. Kyle Fletcher and Aussie Open.
Mark Davis, yeah,
Mark Davis is injured, and they had to vacate both their tag. They had the New Japan Strong titles and
IWGP heavyweight tag titles. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is.
They're really good.
They are really good. This is pretty much just Kyle talking about why he should be international champion. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we had Jade Cargill taking on Danny B. Jade wins quickly with a pump kick. Mark Sterling grabs a mic and says, 58-0, Texas. Is that the best you have to offer? Because I guess they weren't cheering as loudly as Sterling had wanted. He says, we didn't expect much, so we lined up some more talent in the back ready to go, so bring them out. So next, Jade has a match against Genesis.
Show me all files pertaining to Genesis.
So Jade wins with a spear and then jaded. And Sterling gets back on the mic and says 59-0. You think what I'm thinking? 60-0. Let's bring out another one. So someone else comes out. They didn't announce her name. She's making her entrance, and then Taya's music hits. And so she kind of like nods at who was hopefully going to be Jade's next opponent. Instead, punches them, comes to the ring, knocks Layla Gray off the apron, drops Jade with the clothesline, hits her with the Road to Valhalla, picks up a mic and says, now who's that bitch? I'll see you at Double or Nothing.
So this is where they'll both get to use their finishers. Yeah, not just one person. Yeah. After that, we had the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the Varsity Athletes. So obviously the Acclaimed get the win here. The Acclaimed. Does the House of Black have opponents for Double or Nothing for the Trios titles?
I don't believe so, no.
We're thinking this is probably going to be the match, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would think so. But then that's a tough spot because the Acclaimed, super over. House of Black, pretty over. And one of the groups that are consistently underutilized.
Yeah.
That if they drop those Trios titles to the Acclaimed, then it's like, what are you even doing with the House of Black?
You put those titles on the Acclaimed, and then Malachi goes on a singles run, and the other two go for the tag titles. That's what you should do. I don't think they will. I don't have it. Like it was the stupidest thing in the world to take those tag titles off the Acclaimed. It was stupid.
It really was.
It was a bad move.
It was an awful move.
That was still that's dumb. After that, we had that QTV. You already mentioned that. Really don't want to revisit it. And then the Hardy Party have an interview. And Matt says, this match is official. It's the three of us versus the Ass Boys and Ethan Page. And when we win, I'll be in charge of Ethan's contract. And that is poetic justice. And Jeff says, music is the universal language that we all understand. And we're writing our song about becoming the AEW Tag Champions. And then Ethan Page shows up. He interrupts. He's like, hold on. I'm by myself. So please just hear me out, guys. He's like, yeah, boo me too. I lost all these guys here. He says, I asked the Guns for help. I didn't ask them to make a match or put my contract on the line. He says, Matt, me and you, we've been going at this for way too long. We're done. Jeff, I barely know you. We just met and I already did not enjoy getting Swanton bombed, so we're done. He says, you guys trust me. Everything's fine. We're cool. He says, hey, please, tell him you can trust me. We're cool. Me and you, we're closer than them. He says, what happened when Mark Quinn got hurt? Who answered those phone calls? Better yet, when you were backstage moaning and everybody said you looked silly, who told you that was marketable? Who told you to keep doing it, make money off it? Me. Me and you were going to become a tag team, the Moan Event. And then when you guys played me for a fool, so we'll hug it out. And then he goes to to hug Zay, and he pushes him away. And Ethan says, come on, at least shake my hand. He grabs Zay's hand. The Guns hit the ring with chairs. They lay out Hardy Party. Page wraps a chair around Zay's neck, hits a stomp off the second rope onto it, and Page says, you're never going to moan again. Who knows if you're ever going to wrestle again? We'll see you guys at Double or Nothing.
Then we go to commentary, and they're talking about Jericho losing to Roderick Strong, so Jericho responds to that, and Adam Cole shows up in picture and goes, hey, Jericho, if you want to fight me, I'm right here. So since you're too much of a coward to let me in the building, let me explain what's going to happen to you. Every single week, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Every single week, when you leave an arena, I'm going to beat your ass, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Jericho responds, says, well, it's funny you say that, Cole, because the legal counsel, the agreement I have that says you're banned from the building is now null and void because I'm challenging you in Las Vegas to an unsanctioned match. So this legal agreement, he rips it. It's now null and void. I guess you're allowed the building again, Cole. And Adam Cole says, did you really rip up that document? Nice, Chris. That's exactly what I wanted. And so he walks in through the doors of the arena. He's just walking through the concourse. Trying to find his way down to the floor. Rampage goes commercial. We come back. Cole's walking down through the crowd, runs at the commentary, and he and Jericho just start hockey fighting. And security breaks it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that feud. I think it's a good feud, man. I like the kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's simple. You know?
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's a simple story. Yeah.
Yeah. Two good names that I want to see. I think that match is going to be really good, too. After that, we had the pre-main event video package, and we had our main event, Bishop Khan versus Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes bled a lot.
Yeah, he did.
In this match.
Yeah, he did.
So
Khan sent him to the camera and just bleeding all over the place. Austin is Dustin's hometown, so he gets the win. Hits Bulldog, Final Reckoning, and afterwards Brian Cage comes to the ring, lays out Dustin, hits with a power bomb. Swerve gets in the ring, too. Keith Lee's music hits. So Prince Nana sends Brian Cage and Khan to attack him on the ramp. Keith Lee fights them off. He gets in the ring. Swerve's taking off his coat like he's ready to fight. Waves Lee towards him. Then Brian Cage and Khan get back in the ring to attack Keith Lee. Prince Nana hands Khan a chair. He blasts Lee with it. Cage hits Lee with an F5 on the chair. And then Khan and Cage set up the chair and sit Keith Lee in it. Swerve hits a top rope stomp onto Keith Lee to close the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a really good match, man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that a lot. That's going to be really good. Man, every time that camera catches Swerve, I'm like, if they booked him right,
massive
man,
star.
Oh, man.
Massive
man,
star.
Oh, man.
Massive.
Yeah. No Triple H call today. No Phil McDonald call today. They couldn't figure out how to get their Zoom to work, but we are going to do a call maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or something like that. I'm trying to arrange Phil McDonald, Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, to be on the call. So,
all right.
But we still have a Raw preview.
We still have questions to answer too, yeah?
Yeah. We're going to do that too, yeah.
Right.
But first, the Raw preview. So you're off.
All
Look,
right.
I'm maybe I'm just stalling. Maybe I'm trying to make your Monday a little bit better, man. You know,
See,
because I know these calls have been very tough for you, man.
I feel like there's an ambush coming. I'm going to be honest with you.
No ambush.
I feel like I'm getting set up for an ambush. So I'm going to be on guard the rest of the show.
All right.
I'm waiting for the ambush.
All right.
Monday Night Raw preview. What do we got?
Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. They're going to be in the same arena.
Well, they both work for WWE. There's a show tonight. It makes sense.
Makes total sense.
Makes total sense.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and a mystery partner to collide with Imperium. If it's not Riddle, who it'll be?
Oh, it's Riddle.
It's got to be Riddle, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Riddle. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus signed the contract for WWE Night of Champions.
That'll be good. They'll probably get into a fight, huh?
Yeah, I would think so.
All right.
I think so.
Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Of course, we get our questions from, I got to do this too, man.
Mm-hmm.
So much activity. My stomach is growling right now.
Oh, you need some lunch, huh?
I need some foodies, man. First up, we had a super chat from Logan Sampson, and he was echoing a sentiment that I also saw from Guardian Ape here. He says, Theory bragging that he beat a 50-year-old Cena versus Sheamus beating Cena in his prime was such a funny self-own. I mean, that sort of thing about Theory is that he lacks self-awareness.
Yeah, completely and totally.
Yeah. So, of course, we put up question threads, and we get our questions from the awesome friendos that are channel members and patrons. So you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking join or going to patreon.com/Stephen Larson. The $5 up a month tier is where you can get access to the question threads, but you also get access to the huge inaugural Big Blue Predictions Championship Challenge coming up at Weekend of Champions, including, of course, NXT Battlegrounds, AEW's Double or Nothing Live from Vegas, and, of course, Morning of McGriddles, a.k.a. Night of Champions, dubbed E. And we got some new patrons here. Cassius, Todd Anderson, Cutting Edge, Anterovapunin, and Jack McMonagle. Jack McMonagle. Give me a badge and your gun.
Thank you, everybody. If you're watching here on YouTube, whether live or on demand, if you could, please give this video a like. Press that thumbs up button.
Thumbs up.
From what we hear, we're new to this podcasting thing. That's good. Get a lot of thumbs up.
We're new.
If you like what you hear from a couple of brand new podcasters, only been doing this a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Consider hitting the subscribe button, notified bell, so you're aware of when we have new content up. We're trying to do something at least once every weekday.
Yeah.
Again, we hear that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what they say on the YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, the ones we watched. Yeah.
Yeah. The few that we watched. I watched one from like 2015 the other day. You think that's still relevant today?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, right.
I read one article from 2012.
Things don't change, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, this sphere, this YouTube sphere, it's not fluid. It's pretty static, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing that worked in 2012 will work now.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said this whole YouTube thing was, oh dear.
Oh,
I knew it.
Man.
I knew
Who
it.
just said the word fluid?
Hang up,
man.
Steve.
Dick Slavitt, Jim Ross impersonator here. Let's talk about fluid. So, the other day, I was in the bathroom, and you want to talk about fluid?
Hang up,
oh,
Steve.
my gosh.
For heaven's sakes. How are you? Let's just move on. I don't want to get into it.
I tried to keep him, Dick Slavitt, from showing up.
You didn't try hard enough.
But you had... What did you say? Oh, man, you want to talk about hard? The other day, I had my pants off.
You were just right there. Turn it off.
He just came back. This guy's a mess.
He's a menace, is what he is.
He is a menace. Guardian Ape says, who do you guys think was the definition of the total package in wrestling? It's Lex Luger.
Lex Luger, obviously. God, I'm so in the wood right now because this Dick Slavitt run-ins.
Hey, focus on the questions. Did you see? This will make you feel better.
Okay.
Did you see that Lex Luger posted up his 1998 workout routine?
I did.
Were you taking notes? I know you're trying to be big buff boy.
Yeah, I noticed it. I pay attention to it. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna try to do the Lex Luger
dietary,
workout?
I think it's less the actual workout and more like his dietary plan. Like eating 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight is a ton of protein. Like I eat a good.
Yeah, that's a ton.
Yeah, I'd have to have 300 some grams of protein minimum.
Protein, yeah,
which is a lot.
What do you typically eat in a day? Like 40?
Oh, 30? Maybe, I don't know, maybe 100.
Okay,
120. Like the triple, nearly the protein intake.
Triple that.
That'd be crazy.
But then here's the thing, though. Like, you also have to be in the gym for like 3 hours doing like.
Yeah, and I can't do that.
Yeah, no. Let's see here. Zyshawn says, how would you book LWO versus OC feud if given creative control? You know what, man? You got to give the LWO an edge. I don't know. Not edge the wrestler, but like they got to have some attitude. They all seem lobotomized too. You know, like Santos Escobar should not be a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mayor Planet Houston asks, what do you prefer, more wrestling shows or making the ones they have longer? I think option C should be book good wrestling shows, because that would be the answer. I don't need more. I just need better.
Yeah, I agree. Shorter and better.
Yeah, shorter and better.
Yeah. Dank Meme Center says, what match do you think should main event Night of Champions?
Oh, Seth and AJ.
Yeah, I agree. It should. Do you think it will, though?
Yeah, I think it will.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I don't know. I think it's going to be Bloodline. I think it's going to be Bloodline.
All right, prop bet. Cody, you still here? Prop bet for predictions. What main event's Night of Champions?
Yeah, that's good. Because it's either going to be that, it's going to be one of those two, or it's going to be Cody Brock.
Yeah, it could be Cody and Brock, too.
Yeah. Those are options.
Let's see here. D. Kyle's asking, we're going to pre-order Fight Forever, which is coming out June 29th. It was announced. No, I don't pre-order games.
I'll put that shit on my PS. Well, here's the thing about Fight Forever is that I plan on playing it on like, my streaming channel. But like, I think it'd be cool if he came over, because especially like June. Well, it's June 29th. So it's like
June 29th is right. It's shortly after Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Like if you wanted to come over and do a stream, that'd be cool. That'd be fun. There's no need for you to get it if I have it, because there's no. I don't think there's online play. Is there? Do you know?
No, I don't know that I'm aware of. I don't know.
Does anybody know? Like, from what I understand, they don't even have any creation suites. Like, can't make Steven Larson. What the heck?
Oh, bummer, man.
Like, I'd be even happy if it had the Revenge creation suite, which was just like changing the attire and names of existing wrestlers.
Yeah. That'd be something.
Yeah.
Blake here says, when Roman eventually loses his belt, should he lose after a lengthy match, or like how Goldberg squashed Brock at Survivor Series 2016? No, it has to be a long match.
An epic match. Yeah. Epically long. Yeah. Let's see here. DJ Mott says, do you see Solo as the next Paul Heyman guy / main event champion? What's his ceiling in WWE?
Oh, I could see that happening. I could see
it down the line. I think it's still going to take some time for me to accept that. And I don't even know why. Maybe it's because like I followed him so closely for the small amount of time he was in NXT. But like, I don't know. I need to see more of it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Captain Howdy 420 says the leaked achievements make it seem like we do have some sort of creation suite.
No. All right.
Okay. I hope they do. I really do.
I hope so too.
I thought I saw something on Twitter. Okay. Burwinning says there is online play only for singles, tag team, and casino battle royal. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
That's something.
Like, you know what, man? Once it comes out, we'll play it, see what it's like.
Exactly.
That's all you can do.
Alex Foster here says, who should Zion Quinn's first feud be with, considering his character? When you open the dictionary, look up sports entertainer, he says you see an image of Zion Quinn.
Cameron Grimes.
Interesting.
Where is Quinn? Is he on Raw or SmackDown?
Oh, he was in the Battle Royal on Raw.
Oh, well, never mind. Oh, isn't he free agent brand?
He is free agent brand, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I think of sports entertainer, I think of head of the table. It's Roman Reigns.
He's the ultimate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. David Matushek. If AEW's first Collision taping takes place in Jacksonville, will the luster be lost instantaneously because of recent events?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's all such a mess as is. At this juncture, if they pull off the first episode without CM Punk, it's going to kind of feel like a bit of a feat, like they accomplished something to a degree, you know?
Yeah.
If Phil's not going to be there, then it's gonna be all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the early going.
What should be the main? What's the biggest main event you could do that you're already not doing a month from then? Or, about a month, 6 weeks from then, at All In and All Out. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a drag because you launch this type of thing when your product is hot.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's just not right now.
I know. Kenny versus MJF for the title. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, that's good. We already talked about that.
This is an interesting question. Patrick Sparks here says, whose creative control was more detrimental to the surrounding product? Shawn Michaels in the 90s or Triple H's in the early to mid-aughts?
Whose booking was more detrimental to the product? I don't know. You look at Triple H, I feel maybe I'm just a Triple H guy, but he sort of made Batista. He made Orton. You know, he made some guys. His WrestleMania record is not great. You know, I mean, the one big blunder was the Booker T thing.
Yeah.
But, and, you know, I get what people say about him, but, like, I don't know. He made some people. And there wasn't anybody with HBK in the 90s. Like, who are they gonna push?
Oh,
like
Brett.
You look at yeah, I know exactly. Like, they made Diesel as big a guy as they could.
Yeah.
But you look at, for example, what we did like the King of the Ring 96, right? The big Austin promo. But
Yeah.
if you look at the actual scene then, like the main event scene, like Brett wasn't even signed to the company. You had Vader, Ultimate Warrior, Ahmed Johnson. Like, who else was there? Like, Shawn was used for a reason. There was nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could have made Razor Ramon the champion, but like he was
they
going
absolutely could have. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't feel like there was anybody else. Chicago Lou, I think, here has become a channel member.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Stan Ash, WWE do what they can to get Santino Marella back on the books, if for nothing else, to say, I don't even know what that means. To do a segment with Gunther. No,
what?
I know. I mean, yeah, I'm happy Scott D'Amore's back in Impact.
Is that a troll question? I don't get it. Ricardo here with the super chat says, I'm now torn between Jay or Cody dethroning Roman. Boy, oh boy, if Triple H called me, I was like, hey, Steve, what do I do?
A pretty good Triple H.
Nah, that's not very good.
Good.
Do I do Jay or do I do Cody? Who dethrones the tribal chief?
Who do you say, Steve?
Jay's the better story.
You got that right.
But Cody's the man. So, I don't know. I think you go with the man. You go with Cody Rhodes.
Nah, you go with the better story.
Story is over.
Great story can elevate a wrestler to be the man.
I'm telling you, if they had crowds in 2021,
Jay would be the man.
Jay would be the man.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
He would have transcended that. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, that's going to do it. And here, look. Bree Mode agrees. She says Jay. There you go. There's the final word. Yep. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks, Dick Slavitt, for coming in and calling in. We appreciate that as well.
No, we don't. We don't appreciate that.
Till next time.
It's not appreciated.
I didn't know that he still had the Zoom call. I changed the password.
Change it again.
All right. You know. So that's going to do it for us. I mean, I changed the password. Look, I'll just say it right now because I'm changing it as we speak. I changed it to Big Orgy 69. And maybe that's why Dick Slavitt knew what it would be. So I got to change it to something else now. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Good. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.